All right, so catching up on articles that I've missed throughout the week. So this one is a week old, but it's basically a Dr. Seuss book was banned by the right wing's own rules. And it wasn't that long ago that they lost their minds for the left canceling Dr. Seuss because of one book that even the heirs said was they were stopping the book because of sales. So yeah. And now they're banning a book because they're just horrible like that. But let's get to the actual reason. A Republican-backed law has led to the removal of hundreds of books from school libraries in one Tennessee county, including a title by children's author Dr. Seuss. Dr. Seuss's 1974 children's book, Wacky Wednesday, is among the more than 400 titles that have been banned from school libraries in Wilson County, Tennessee, following changes made to the state's 2022 Age-Appropriate Materials Act earlier this year, local ABC affiliate WKRN reported. On July 1st, ahead of the start of the 2024-2025 school year, the Republican-backed HB 843 went into effect. The bill proposed by State Rep. Susan Lynn, of course a Republican, amended the 2022 law to require schools to remove all materials that contain nudity or descriptions or depictions of sexual excitement, sexual conduct, excess violence, or sadomasochistic abuse. Is not appropriate for the age and maturity level of a student in any of the grades kindergarten through 12, or is patently offensive or appeals to the prurient interest. So, pretty much every book in existence, because what the hell? While Lynn told WKRN in August that the goal of this law is to keep sexually explicit materials out of the hands of minors, the outlet notes that critics have said HB 843 is so vague that the Bible could be banned from schools. The law has already led one Wilson County high school to shut down its library. Actually, considering some of the even more specific book bans, the Bible could still be banned. So, yeah. The fact that the Bible could be banned and that's why the law is too broad isn't the problem. Let's just not ban books. I mean, really, how hard is that? Wilson County Director of Schools Jeff Luttrell, who previously warned about the law's potential impact, released the list of banned books ahead of a recent school board meeting, but does not appear to have commented on the specific reasons why any of the 400-plus titles would be removed. Wacky Wednesday does contain a single page featuring an illustration by George Booth of the book's school-age protagonist shown naked from behind in the shower. Oh, so scandalous. It's a illustration. Come on. The removal of Wacky Wednesday from Wilson County school libraries under the Republican-backed law comes more than 3 years after right-wing pundits blamed the woke left for canceling Dr. Seuss. Republicans and conservative outlets painted the children's book author, who died in 1991, as a victim of so-called cancel culture, after Dr. Seuss Enterprises announced in March 2021 that it would stop publishing 6 of his books because they contained racist depictions of characters of color. Right, because, we wouldn't want to change things. I mean, seriously, do these people think that that the movie Amos and Andy, or was it a TV show? I can't remember, is still being published. Seriously, where can you find that? You can't. So people do things like that. People put things out of print. And just because they understand that this isn't acceptable anymore doesn't mean that you should lose your shit over it. Because it's the family who did this, not some woke leftists or whatever you think. These are people who probably the sale of these books were not doing well because they had racist depictions. So people weren't buying them. So they took them off the shelves. Aren't the Republicans the ones who are supposed to be all for unfettered free markets? Well, the markets were saying that these 6 books aren't selling because of the racist depictions. That is seriously not the same as canceling someone. Anyway, the company described the books as portraying people in ways that are hurtful and wrong, and said in a statement at the time that ceasing sales of these books is only part of our commitment and broader plan to ensure Dr. Seuss Enterprises' catalog represents and supports all communities and families. And, because of how cool Dr. Seuss was, it wouldn't surprise me if he wouldn't actually have backed this move if he were still alive. While the decision to stop publishing the 6 books was made by Dr. Seuss Enterprises, right-wing outlets like Fox News mischaracterized it as a book ban. Because words have no meaning anymore. Unsurprisingly, it has actually been Republican-backed laws like Tennessee's that have resulted in the banning of Dr. Seuss books from schools. Wacky Wednesday was previously removed from school shelves in Texas last year. The title was among 14 books removed from Katy Independent School District classrooms in 2023 after an internal committee deemed them as inappropriate for children, for reasons the district would not make public, the Houston Chronicle reported last year. Let's just not ban books. I mean, I've mentioned many times before on this channel that, I'm not a fan of, I would not steer people towards something like Mein Kampf or the Protocols of the Elders of Zion or any hateful things. But would I advocate removing them? No. If you want to read it, whether it be because you want to find out for yourself what horribleness is in, like the Protocols of the Elders of Zion, then fine. You should be able to know why people hate something so much, or why people think that it's true, or whatever it is that you want to learn about a book. If you want to read the book and actually learn about, what people who follow, who believe this book is real, what they actually believe, that's fine. You want to read Mein Kampf so you understand what Adolf Hitler thought? Sure, go for it. Because we shouldn't be afraid of ideas. Now, if you're reading it and you're saying, yep, that sounds right, that just tells me you're someone to be avoided. Not that the book should be banned. I mean, obviously, you should try to discuss it with this person and say why you're agreeing with what's in here is problematic. but it shouldn't be outright banned because, let's face it, everybody loves the forbidden fruit. If you ban something, people are more likely to want to read it because they want to know why it was banned. I mean, that my father bought the Satanic Verses for that very reason, because there was a fatwa on Solomon Rushdie's head. And so, I think that's the right word. I'm unsure suddenly. But, my dad couldn't even get through the first few pages. It was so boring. Back in I believe it was the 80s, possibly 90s. 80s, when Tipper Gore was railing against things like Aerosmith, when Aerosmith won, I think it was Album of the Year, Steven Tyler actually thanked her for trying to ban his album because that actually boosted sales. So, if for no other reason, it's a forbidden fruit fallacy. Well, not fallacy, but paradox. You ban something, people are going to be more interested in why was it banned? What is particularly wrong with this project? So it doesn't even work. Even if you said, yes, that's a legitimate reason to ban this book. This book should not, that this book is problematic for whatever reason. It doesn't work. Book bans don't work because people are just going to be like, why was this book banned? And so people are going to try to get access to it, read it. So you're not actually accomplishing your goal. But no, people should be allowed to read books and decide for themselves. Now, as for, this isn't appropriate for kindergarten through 12, that is a huge swath. I mean, obviously, what's appropriate for a 5-year-old, I should say, what's appropriate for a 12-year-old isn't appropriate for a 5-year-old. So to put them all in one basket? Are you really telling me that 12-year-olds can only read things that are appropriate for kindergartners? No, that's problematic as well. And it sounds like anatomy books are just going to be going the way of the dodo in this county, because that by its very nature has to show nudity, because it's freaking anatomy and physiology. So yeah, it's just very, very problematic. And like I said, even when they are more specific in their book bans, you can still ban the Bible based on their criteria. Because nobody seems to think about, I don't know, the nudity that's in the Bible, the incest, let's see, what else? All the killings, because there's plenty of killings in there. Yeah, so yeah, the very things that the pearl clutchers have a problem with other books, except for the LGBT plus part, you can point to the Bible and say, yeah, but the Bible has this. So yeah, book bans are just stupid. Just don't try to ban books. Let people decide for themselves what is appropriate. Let individual parents decide what is appropriate for their child to read. Because some children aren't ready for certain topics. Some children are ready for more advanced topics. It's not for you to decide what a parent wants their kid to read. Now, if a kid checks out a book and the parent is unhappy about it, you take the book back. You want to deal with whatever temper tantrum your kid is going to have? Fine. Take the book back and tell your kid that you're not allowed to read these books. But that should be a parent's responsibility, not one parent deciding for everybody else what kids should read, because every kid is different. Some kids are ready for certain subjects, and let's face it, some kids want to read about characters that they relate to. Whether it be because of a sexual awakening, or whether would be because of first relationships, or it could be because they're feeling alone because they're not interested in romance at all, and the only books they can find that deal with being a teenager also involves sex and relationships, and they might not want to have to deal with that. They should be able to read about it. There's more than one way to exist, and everybody has their own experiences. So again, don't ban books. Just let kids be kids. Let parents be parents. And why are we shouldn't even have to be discussing this. But unfortunately, in this era of the United States, yeah, people seem to think that they should decide for other people how their lives should be lived. So anyway, that is all I have for this video, and I will see you guys in the next one.